Welcome to the final episode of Series 87, everyone. This month we have returning guest James D'Amato to learn about the game he is co-designing with another previous guest, Drew Merzieski, called Cosmic Century Knights, a retro anime and JRPG-inspired fantasy role-playing game. In today's episode, we finish our discussion and get to our fanfic, where we learn a bit more about the antagonists before diving into the level-up structure of the game, which is very fascinating. But before we get to that, we do have some calls to action coming up after the show. Here's what to expect. You can join us here after the show to learn about our panel at GameHole Con coming up on Friday, October 17th, as well as information about our next planned streaming date, our Patreon, how to leave a review for the show, and our patron thank yous as usual. With all of that out of the way, enjoy the show, everyone. Well, one of the questions that I love to ask the designers that come on the show is, what do you think is one of the biggest flaws of character creation in the system? And what is one of your favorite parts?
So the flaw for me right now is that character creation and antagonist creation usually is a full 4-hour session. You'll get to the end of it of what like is a normal gameplay time allotment, and you are ready to start the game. And I do consider that to be a flaw, because I want people to be able to like jump in and start playing games. It makes it easier to demo as a concept, to feel like, oh yeah, you've got to experience everything. And so when I am coming up with demos, and like right now I'm touring around different actual plays trying to show off this game, I have to abridge something. It doesn't matter what it is. Either we're doing 2 sessions, which is a lot, or I have to abridge something so people can see some aspect of every part of it.
Right.
And like, technically it's not a flaw, but it does make it harder for the game to sell itself by its own merits in a demo experience. Because I do think if you sit down and play this game without having made a character or an antagonist, you can still have a good time. But it's not going to hit the same potential as if you went through this process or some version of this process and made up a character.
Yeah. Is that something that you tried to like, you have, tried to finagle and just lost?
No, it's not something I tried to finagle, because like, I wanted the character creation process to be what it was, regardless of what that meant about how I sell it. I will say, for demos, I'm looking ahead to PAX Unplugged. I'm hoping to like maybe get a little bit of demo time. It depends on what possible worlds is able to snag within the plans and machinations of PAX U. But I am going to put Blade blessings in aspects. I'm going to print them out on cards. And have people like draw 3 cards for each category or whatever, and just like quickly go through a character creation that way. I think that will help a lot in terms of like giving you a quicker version of what this could be. But ultimately it's like, I wanted to prioritize the fact that this could be this slow development of an idea that will get its hooks into you and compel you to play it. And in order to do that, we needed to let the character creation process take its time.
For sure.
And there's just no way around that. Now that it exists that way, it's like, okay, how do we put this into a shape temporarily that allows it to be seen and experienced from afar so people know, yeah, I do want to make a commitment to do that because I know it's going to pay these dividends for me.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting that that's like a concern, because definitely sitting here doing it, there was no part of me that's like, wow, this is taking a long time. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like,
sure. But like when you
as you're
go to play
experiencing
this game with your friends
Yeah.
and you're like, yeah, session 0's like a full 4 hours. It's like already like, oh, that's such a big commitment
yeah.
to
Maybe
a
that's
new
something
game.
wrong with me then, because I'm like, that seems totally normal. I'm like, why would
I don't know.
not have
Let
a
me ask you
4-hour
this. Have you been
session?
doing a show where you create characters for the past several years?
Yeah, right. So
and
for the
that's
past
all
7
you do?
years, have you only been doing 6-hour session 0 recordings for
Exactly.
It's
fine.
Right. Like, okay, so I'm
well,
not
that might be a skill set that you have that
audience.
informs how you feel. Yeah. I am very aware as a person who has professionally tried to show off and learn as many different games as possible of the general objection to trying new things that people have. And I want to head those off at different passes, or at least lower the barrier to entry as much as I can for people.
Right.
And I think, you know, for people too, that like, as you're an adult, you have lots of commitments, you have, you know, like kids, like your time is very precious too. And so I do think that, you know, for people who aren't like, you know, making their life around role-playing games where it's like a hobby and that kind of stuff, like that is, you know, to say like, okay, one full session, we're not even gonna start playing the game. Like I can see how that's, you know, something, but I don't think I ever felt while we were doing this, like, wow, I wish this were shorter, you know.
I'm curious if it's a mechanical issue or like that's how collaborative world building just goes sometimes, right? Like when you get people riffing off of each other and building this world, building your characters, building this cool story before you even get to session 1. I've seen my games that I've run that have massive amounts of collaborative world building at session 0 go off the rails way too easily, far too often, and a 2-hour character creation session is now 5.
Yeah. I think that's an audience issue, especially because I think there are a lot of people that are like, you know, I want to be able to just like randomly roll my D&D character, like hit a button and then sit down and play, you know?
Yeah. It's fully dependent on the group. I will say, like, one of the first play tests for this, we did as part of a one-shot Toberfest where we had Connie and C from Transplanar on to join us for that. And that was like a 3-hour and change stream. And we got through character creation for 3 people. And antagonist creation, and we played like, I think it was like half hour, maybe 45 minutes of like gameplay. So it's possible, and not to say that Connie and C are not world buildy people, because they absolutely are, but like it is possible to move things quickly and like kind of get to it. It just depends on the group and the decisions that they're making.
And it definitely, to like kind of go back to your point, does make it like something difficult to show off at, you know, especially at a like convention or something like that, when you are working with these very limited time slots and people are trying to pack the most stuff in the amount of time they have over the course of a weekend, and like, you know, like that
trying to show it off in its truest form
Right.
is difficult, because it's like, well, to really see what this game is and can be, you do need to give it the time, and that is a big ask of people.
Got to let it marinate a little.
So we're trying different angles. We're now like, Drew and I are talking through like gamifying the process of like, how do we guide people to some of the things about character creations that can like spark interest or excitement quickly, so that, you know, they can see even more promise and, you know, actually go and say, I will get this game, whether it's one of those games that sits on my shelf or whether I'm going to make a big priority of like trying to run out and play it. Like we're trying to get to that stage there so we can at least be part of the conversation.
I mean, honestly, the moment I was told I get to create a magical sword, I was like, done, I'm there. I don't even need a person that has the sword. I just need like, I can make a magical sword. Great. Done. Sign me up. But maybe
you're the ideal audience. Yes. There need to be more people like you out there.
Yep.
And they need to have a lot of money.
People need to understand the beauty of magical swords. And I just think that our world would be a better place.
Absolutely.
You have to answer the other half of the question, though, too.
What is your favorite part?
Oh, favorite part. Oh, gosh.
Yes. The answer is yes. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, my favorite part of running the character creation has been reading off people's miraculous blessings and seeing which directions they're going. There's kind of a magic that exists in rolling, in being surprised by something that like something can exist as a choice for you, and it will not excite you very much. But if you roll it up as a choice, it's like, oh,
I earned
this is coming to me through serendipity and fate. And that does feel really cool. So I definitely like running that part. The way I really think it is like mechanically as a designer, the way the various aspects really form a story for people. We do have something that we did not use in this that Drew and I included, and I think the work that we did on it is good, but most of the time I found it to be unnecessary, which is the bonds. There are bonds that you can roll between characters that sort of like form relationships. So your knights have a connection going in. Most of the time when we've run character creation, it has felt very obvious how and why these characters are fitting together or traveling together or where they're going to encounter each other for the first time. So they don't need the bonds that often. They are there and they're like interesting. But I think the bonds are they don't like the aspects work so well that the bonds aren't necessary most of the time. And I like that means that the aspects are strong.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that you like have that option there for people that, need more because you don't want to just meet in a tavern. But that like, it's not something that, it's, if you've come up with it organically, that you can also just let people, live in that. Because I do think sometimes games like put so much emphasis on those bonds. They're like, let's start rolling it. And I'm like, well, this isn't what I pictured for why, like we already have such a natural organic connection based on these other choices that we made, but now you're telling me that actually our connection is this thing over here, and like I do find that disappointing sometimes.
I think Drew and I came up with really fun and interesting bonds, but when we were turning in the manuscript, I did say like, hey, I think we did good work here, but I could be talked into let's throw this into an expansion because I want it to be there at some point, but I think when I was pitching this game, I pitched a much shorter version of it to Tyler at first. I was like, oh yeah, 20 to 30,000 words. And let's see, this is clocking in close to 60, I think.
Wow.
So it is almost twice as large as what we had originally pitched. Things like Drew and I were originally going to be like, oh, maybe Cosmic Century Nights is a zine, and it just.
Then you wrote some tables and you were like,
more and more.
Those are a zine in themselves. And
Yeah. I mean, it was going to be like a large zine, but
Right.
we had such small ideas. And when Tyler, we hooked up with Tyler and Possible Worlds as a publisher, like that's when our ambition like truly got to be unlocked of like, let's just let this game be what it wants to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our fan fiction portion. We are officially at the portion where we pretend that we played this game. So let's talk about this. I'm curious about, now that we've talked about bonds, like we haven't discussed that at all with our characters. What, how these people go together, because we do have 3 very different people here.
Very different, unique origins, too.
Right. Well, we have one weird alien panther, we have a space prince, and we have an art teacher. So I want to know, what is this? What is this? What kind of things can these people get up to together,
I mean, one of the things that unfortunately answers that question is when the antagonists are present, that makes itself obvious. Like,
Right.
I think already being a star wanderer from like a kingdom where the king fell and like the prince had to travel to another world, the Star Conquerors, which are one of the antagonists that you can choose to create in this game, would very immediately create the urgency and need for things to be together. And like my character, definitely anime protagonist style, is like going to be going around looking for like, hey, who has a century blade? We can defend this world. What happened in my world doesn't have to happen, but we need to stand together to do it. So like I can see Strago being like a very busybody and like going out and being like, listen to me, art teacher.
Yeah.
I'm putting together a team and I need you to be a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you only panther left. Like, you understand my struggle. Like,
which, like honestly, talking to Ryan's character, I can be like, if you are the last of your kind, that means you are the king of your kind. Like we are the same, you and I. So there's definitely going to be a point of connection there, which I think is really interesting.
Absolutely.
I can see that working very well.
I think that would be a lot of fun. I'm curious, can you tell us just a little bit about like, the antagonist creation? Because we've mentioned it a few times.
Yes, I do keep harping on that. That is honestly one of my favorite parts of
it sounds like the part like
game.
You keep saying it. I'm like, why did we spend all this time creating these people? I want to create the bad guys. Why? Stop teasing me.
So the game comes with 3 antagonists. These are like large thematic groups. The first are the Star Conquerors, and they are some kind of empire of conquering beings that will be from another world. Then we have the Fell Knights, which are people who have century blades who are not using them for good purposes, who are using them for bad purposes. And that can be fairly straightforward. And then we have the Blight Labyrinth, which is a parasitic extra-dimensional space that attaches to the world by creating entrances to dungeons and tries to tempt creatures inside so it can digest them. And if it is fed enough, it slowly grows its entrances and it's eaten like entire civilizations. So they're all kind of like potentially very huge threats. And with antagonists, you define their aesthetics. So they've got like pick lists based on each different antagonist group that defines a sense of style, a look for them. Then they have aspects where you are ranking them. And each one really, really strongly defines what those beings can be. So for the Star Conquerors, for instance, their aspects are the connection to the blades, their interest in this planet, their coherence, or how easily how much their thought resembles our thought, their intent, what they want to do, and their form, what they look like. And you'll give one of those things a 1, which is more or less bad news for the players, or 5, which is good news for the players. So under Connection to the Blades, if you choose a 1, it's the Star Conquerors have never encountered the Century of Blades before. Even with their sprawling empire, the origin of the Cosmic Blade is a mystery. So it's not clear what a matchup between Century Knights and Star Conquerors is going to be. But if you choose a 5, the Century Blades were forged as weapons specifically to oppose the Star Conquerors. They were sent to this planet so denizens could defend themselves. So it like very quickly sets up a story just based on that choice of what your knights mean to the Star Conquerors, and furthermore, what the Star Conquerors mean to this world. And the Star Conquerors can be like very much like, oh, this is almost like another country, but they happen to be from outer space. You can have like the new She-Ra animated series type of thing of like, they are a intergalactic, wild spanning empire that like, if they turned their attention towards this planet, it would be extremely bad news because sheer force of numbers, they're going to overwhelm you. They can also be creatures like the xenomorphs from Alien, where they're like almost an infection that's spreading over the planet and whatnot. So the Star Conquerors can be so many different things. The core themes are still like invasion and protecting your world and trying to preserve what your world is, but that takes many different shapes and forms based on your choices as a group. So yeah, like many of the questions that we could have after making characters are very readily answered by, well, you make the antagonist and you know what you're up against.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I think that like, obviously that's the clear choice for antagonist for us. You know, we have
that is where I would start us
a
for
space
sure.
prince. So probably.
The Fell Knights could also easily fit in too. You know, like I'm a space prince that, what is my desire? Duty, honor, and justice. And I come here with my family's blade, that like everyone in my family dies for. And I'm very insistent in that. And like, I come to this planet where the Cosmic Blade has landed and the Century Blades have been distributed. And some people are like y'all who are just like, yeah, I'm going around, I'm having adventures, I'm doing what good I can. And then there are a few who have picked up these legendary swords and they're using them for evil or selfishness. That could not, like, you couldn't find something that offends me more than that idea. So like that could also fit in. The Blight Labyrinth might be like the lowest tier of the antagonist, but even the Blight Labyrinth, it could very well be that like, well, my planet fell because it was devoured by the Blight Labyrinth of we thought it was a symbiotic relationship of us going and adventuring in this labyrinth. And what we didn't know is that it was corrupting and undermining our civilization until it ate the planet. And now I'm here to try and prevent that from happening to this planet.
Maybe the Blight Labyrinth is death that, you know, killed
exactly. There's so
species,
much.
You know, I'm personally very interested in the Fell Knights just because I love that, like, good, evil, morally gray. What is good? What is not? You know, like, I like to like explore some of that too. And
the cool thing about the antagonists too is they are also set up. So we talked about the aspects. There are also, after you assign abilities and weaknesses, you come down to defining different details about them through their elements. And elements are like 4 world building details that are attached to each antagonist. And I believe every antagonist group has one of these elements that links them to another antagonist group. So for the Star Conquerors, they have an antagonistic relationship where they have faced one of the other antagonists at some point in the past in their galaxy-spanning campaign for domination, and you decide, are the Star Conquerors enemies to the Fell Knights? Are they enemies to the Blight Labyrinth? But like having multiple antagonists that you build, suddenly you're like, okay, are we playing these antagonists against each other? Are we using them as advantages in certain situations? Is that ultimately how we're going to resolve the Star Conquerors? Is we, convince them that like, hey, the real enemy is this Blight Labyrinth. We got to team up and take it down. There's so much potential there. And that was kind of seeded into the game of one of the things that I think is wonderful about like character creation and world building is that you create all these interesting ideas and then you look for ways to connect them. And so that's built into the process.
Very cool.
Yeah. Which I think makes it really easy for, people to pick up as a GM too, because it's all of that stuff is already baked in and, built for you just by creating characters too. I think that sort of reduces the barrier to entry of someone running it as well. That like you are not solely responsible for coming up with all of those pieces on your own.
Yes, I definitely think it is a new GM friendly game. Probably like it could be any game could be somebody's first game. I will say that there's no monster manual attached to this. Each antagonist has a list of forces that is associated with the antagonist, and you have modular choices that you make to make up individual like there are categories of forces. So like the Star Conquerors have drones, soldiers, captains, and lords that are all like threat categories. So drones are like, obviously you're like smaller minion enemies. Soldiers are your rank and file day to day. Captains are much more capable threats. Lords are like big boss style enemies. So all of those, you make a few choices and you can make different feeling versions of things that fit into that slot for the antagonist. That I think is a little bit more work that people have to do, but like also, it is relatively easy outside of as long as you have an hour or so before session, or you can even fold it into your session 0 and have your players help you create some of these forces alongside you. I definitely have done that in a lot of the games that I've went through, and it's been exciting every time for me because my players know exactly how scary everything is because they helped create it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it does kind of like up the fear a little bit of like, oh no, what have I done to myself? Which I honestly love as a player, being like, when things happen and you're like, oh no, like this is a direct result of choices that I made. How dare I have done this? That's,
it definitely adds to that tension during the game too, because like how many times have groups encountered the big bad in other games and they're like, oh, we know literally nothing about this person's power level. Should I be scared? Am I only scared because I'm told to be scared?
Right. Yeah.
But when you have a hand in like, I know what this thing's capable of.
Like, right.
Now you can be frightened of it if you encounter it when you're not ready.
Yep.
Yeah. So there are tons of like little tricks baked into the way that you set up the game that like adds emotional and story impact around the things you do as a matter of course when running the game. So that the game makes easier. The thing is, you do have to make individual little guys, which I will straight up say, like, yeah, that is a little bit of prep work. It's not the same as just picking up a monster out of the monster manual and being like, all right, I'm good for this week's session.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it'd be hard to do that anyway when you've got completely unique worlds with completely unique monsters and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't think it would serve the game.
I'm sure there's not a xenomorphic knife panther.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
I mean, I guess you could provide stats
games.
That's like, you know, this is your base level bad guy. This is your mid-level bad guy. This is your, you know, but like, yeah, you're right. I think it would ruin the vibe to be, you know, for it to be like that. I think it's like there will always be some kind of, you know, prep and thinking and all of that kind of stuff. It's just, where is that time going? You know?
Absolutely. Well, I would love to see the advancement in this game. It looks really interesting. So let's go ahead and take it up a level.
Take it up a level. Take it up a level.
So in this segment, we talk about our advancement and we talk about narrative growth. But I think the biggest piece right now, that whole last page of our character sheets is like that mechanical, you know, all of the things that we get as we advance.
Yeah. So this game has a very weird advancement system, and you can move through it very quickly, which is one of the reasons that I included all of the level up stuff on the character sheet itself. On the last page of the character sheet, there's a section called Feats that has vague titles for things. They are take a life, destroy something utterly, gain a fortune, be declared dead, clear your name, please a teacher.
I picked that
one.
All
of those things.
Right.
All of those things are vague. And the way leveling up works is, in the course of play, when you feel that like, oh yeah, my character has suffered dismemberment or shed a flaw, you can check off that box, and that counts towards your feats. And each new level has a number of feats it is required to ascend to that level. So if you want to move from level 1 to level 2, you just need to hit 2 feats. And that can happen quite quickly. You can pull off 2 of these in a single session very easily. You can also flash back to things that your character has done in the past in order to satisfy these feats, as one of them is find a century blade. Because your character starts off as a century knight, like you can flash back to the moment your character got your blade and go, oh yeah, I'm going to claim that feat. I'm going to flash back to that moment right now, check it off and claim it. And even in the middle of combat, you can level up during a session.
That is so anime of you.
Yes. Well, that is like, because it was a big inspiration point to us and what we were trying to do. Like, I do love that in anime, and less so in JRPGs, but it does happen, where in the middle of a fight, you find a new point of strength and you are using that to push yourself forward. I think those moments are always really interesting and cool. And of course, I want to be able to bring that into the system. The thing about leveling up is the GM has absolutely no say over it. This is something that the player decides for themselves. They go, yes, I'm going to do this. Because like, if we look at the first feat, take a life, like that is going to happen probably dozens of times over the course of a campaign. Like, you are going to be fighting enemies. Any one of them could be one that you go, yeah, I'm checking off take a life here. When you check off take a life, what you are saying is, this moment is important to my character. After my character is gone, when people tell the story of this blade and this knight, the time I defeated this enemy and took this life, that is going to be one of the stories they tell. So if you come to a moment where you think like, yeah, this is significant to my character, that's when you check off that box, and hitting that number of feats to ascend gets you to the next level. And, brings the hit points and the larger recovery die and the larger pool of effort. And after playtesting, also a new defense stat in some cases that come with all those levels. These are older character sheets here. So that is to say, like, how leveling up works entirely depends on how our story goes and how you as players are viewing the story. Because everybody has access to the same sliding scale of dice, base level mechanical, every character is the same. So you can have a level 1 character in a party with like a level 3 character, and the power disparity isn't too much. It does affect which blessings you can activate. So there is certainly a motivation to like, for many people, get up to level 3 or 4, but there are only 6 levels. So you are deciding how quickly you want that journey to go as you build your character story. An important thing to me for this game is I wanted it to be possible to reach max level. And I think a lot of games that's treated as like, oh, that's a lofty prospect, you're never going to be there. And for me, I'm like, no, I want people to be there. Right. I really do want it to be possible. And putting it entirely within the player's hands is the best way that I could figure out to do that.
Yeah. Now, is it cumulative? Like 2 feats to ascend to level 2, and then
you need 4 more to ascend to level 3.
4 more on top of that. Okay.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking.
And then, it seems like similar to that, like dice rolling, at character creation too, you're like, kind of funneling down the number of choices then too, because I assume you cannot take a life every time
twice.
No. So like having to decide, and some of them are a little more specific or kind of obscure. Like one of them is like be declared dead. Is that's probably not something that's gonna happen a lot. So you get to a point where you're like, well, I've checked, mourn a loss, take a life, like the kind of simple things. And then, as you get towards level 6, you're like, well, I have to like really put in some effort or decide, and honestly decide to hit story beats too, like, kind of play towards some of those goals potentially if you want to.
Exactly. You start to look around because to hit max level, you're going to need 30 feats. There are 50 feats in the game. So
lose a century blade. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, if you find another one, you could always lose it.
True.
Here's the thing. Your character can be your knight or your blade, however you want to divide those.
That's interesting. So
you're like, am I going to follow the blade story? Am I going to follow the knight story? But yeah, it is also totally possible within the world, because this is something that is entirely controlled by the story and the GM. You could find another century blade. That is another, like, if you're looking for more power and whatnot, it's like, well, yeah, just go out and find another sword, and that doubles your pool of potential blessings that you can play with.
So wild. Like, I think I remember when I was doing character creation with you for the Patreon stuff, there was mention of this king of thieves that had multiple century blades.
Yeah.
And one of the blades just happened to be from that pool.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing, man? That's too much power. That's too much power in one spot.
There's too many swords.
I can tell you, like, one of the Fell Knights, the terror, which is like the highest level of like threat that we establish within the forces of the Fell Knights, is somebody, and you can choose, this Fell Knight has 2 century blades, that they're always dual wielding in combat.
What? No.
That's wild.
Wrong. That's just too much. It's too. He's doing too much.
Yeah, I do like seeing. It seems like it's relatively easy to get to level 3.
Yes.
And then it kind of slows down at that point, like the logarithmic progression at that point.
Yeah.
Because I was just looking and I can check off 4 to 6 of them right now if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. And you would claim those through flashbacks. And those are, I believe, mostly, although there is flexibility, tied to the rests that you take. Okay. Or so like your breath, break, and rest during the game. You have the option of flashing back to claim one of your feats. So that allows you to pace it out a little bit. But like, yeah, if you want a breakneck speed in checking off feats, at least for the flashbacks, you can get 3 per session.
That's wild.
And then the other feats are literally in the moment. It's like, yeah, I have saved a life. I'm going to check that off and claim that saving this life is part of my story. And it's all to be like, hey, this game should be what you want it to be. Yeah. And especially for players who start out with blessings that like, yeah, this does take 10 to activate this blessing.
I have a couple of those that like, you know.
I just can't shut this down without 8.
Yeah, well, there's right, the one where it's like you can choose to start this at any time, but in order to stop it, you're going to need to level up.
Yeah, you're going to be passing out every single combat.
Right, yeah.
Which gives you like, I think one thing that I like about that one is it is a fun anime story of like, yeah, for the first third of this series or whatever, this character is always pushing themselves until they pass out. And eventually we see them like finish a fight and be fine. But that's something that we build up to and that character earns.
Yeah. Well, it's because my character didn't start out battling for my life and watching my family die. You know.
You were battling for your life in an art classroom.
Exactly. I was fighting for glue sticks and construction paper.
We know how important color is in this world.
Exactly. No, I love these. Like they're broad, but like really evocative too. So I think that like the moments that you choose to say, like, this is the betrayal that matters, you know, this is the, you know, the abandonment or the love or whatever that like I choose to mark off really, you know, solidifies those important story beats too. And I love that it's self-paced, that I get to be the one that says like, this matters to me. This is worth checking off.
Thank you. I'm really excited about that aspect of the system. It's one of the few mechanical things that I'm like, I'm not sure I've seen that done before or not done at least in the same way, which I'm excited to see what people do with it.
Yeah. Well, and I think it hits a really sweet spot for me, which is when the narrative matches up with the mechanics of leveling up. Like, this is the thing that I harp on all the time, is that I hate when you level up at arbitrary times or when the things that you get for leveling up are arbitrary. Like, this is where I always talk about cave diving and sailing. Like, I don't want an adventure where we've gone through a cave and then the skill I get at the next level is sailing. You know, that I don't want that. And so like this hits a really sweet spot for me where you are leveling up mechanically. You are getting something to sort of, you know, improve your character, but it is done not just in, you know, like in a narrative way where I can say the thing that I got narratively makes sense, but the fact that I even leveled up at this point is narratively determined and narratively important. And that like
you can
to marry
totally
all of those
power
things
game this, but you're going to walk away with a fun story while you're power gaming it.
And it's not something that I see very often, that like all of those things can get married together really nicely. And so like I'm very excited about this. It checks all the boxes for me, but not all of them at once because I want to level up slowly. I just want to be able to not get massively destroyed. I just need to get up to like, what is it? Like 8 effort or whatever I need to like not be
like level 3 and 4, marinate a little bit at that point. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then slowly check those boxes. Yeah. I could see that being a lot of fun.
I don't remember how many I need to like stop time or whatever it is, but
I mean, we need that to happen. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah. Like, cause I think I just need to be level 2 and I think I can do everything for mine. Like spend 5 is my highest, I believe.
What? I think my lowest is like 8.
I can pump it up, I guess. I know.
Mine was like spend 47.
Like spend plus 2 and
yeah, I have spent 7 for my miraculous, so I need to be up at level 3 like Amelia does.
Yeah.
To unlock everything.
Yeah. I really like this.
I don't even think I have to spend anything, honestly, to do my miraculous thing. It just does extra stuff if I spend extra stuff.
Let me see to make sure that that's right, because that might need language adjustment if it's
that might need to be fixed.
All foes slain by this blade will be absolved of any ill deeds, etc., etc. But then you can spend +2 and grant immunity to profane damage with a touch of your blade. And then this ability costs +1 for every being
currently being protected.
Currently being protected. Yeah. Then spend 5, roll to your refresh die and restore hit points or effort to all beings currently protected by the blessings of your blade. So yeah, it'll get more expensive as I protect more and more people. But that's pretty cool that it's got utility off the bat, but like it's not like game breaking mechanically in that sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, mine also
like
has
Amelia's utility off the bat too.
Right. Like, I just want to not. If you want to not die while using this,
well, it
that's
won't
a different
kill
price.
you. It will just as long as you have when you reach 0 hit points, as long as you have one of your recoveries remaining, your breath, your break, or your rest, you will pass out. And then if it's the breath, you can pop back up immediately. If it's your break, you need an hour. And if it's your rest, you need like an 8-hour, like.
Honestly, that seems like a great time to be declared dead.
Sure. Definitely possible.
So maybe we can game that system a little bit.
Yeah. But I was like also thinking creatively for mine, like be declared dead. Your species is supposed to be extinct.
Oh, yeah, you could start with that.
You could.
Yeah, you are declared dead because there shouldn't be anyone left of you. Which is an interesting, like, ability to take these feats and twist them in a way that makes sense to the story that you're telling.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, and I think both of you can please a teacher pretty easily if you're just like nice to me,
yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I really like these. I really like those.
It's very good.
So yeah, that's leveling up. It's a little different than you can talk about normally, but like it is very self-controlled. And like again, that is one of the level up mechanisms, because all leveling up is doing is affecting your recovery, your hit points, and your effort. If you want new or different abilities, some blessings have narrative triggers that expand their blessing abilities, or you can just go out and find another blade, because we know there are 100 of these things, and because the Fell Knights exist, we know not everybody should have theirs. So
right, yeah,
so interesting. It makes me want to like see what it would be like rolling up 100 blades and then randomly just rolling one of those blades for what you get.
Oh, sure. That is a way to do it. It's a crazy way to do it, but it's definitely possible.
Yeah. But if you really love
just to
rolling
like know
dice,
the possibilities,
you
right?
can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it'd be a really interesting campaign. That's for sure. Oh, goodness. Well, you got me wanting to play this game, James.
That's good.
Yep.
Love to hear that.
You did it.
Listeners, if that's you too, the Kickstarter's happening now.
Mm-hmm.
Get it while it's hot. This will be the final episode, the last Monday of September. So this might be your last chance to get in on the Kickstarter if you haven't already. Link in the show notes. And goodness, I'm excited for this.
Me too.
Well, thank you very much. I am so excited to share it with everyone.
Absolutely. Well, James, thank you for joining us to talk about Cosmic Century Nights. This was a blast.
Honestly, thank you so much for having me. I love making fun character creation systems. So yeah, this is a great show to be able to share with.
Mm-hmm.
Is that why you let us join the network? You were like, I'm going to write some games, and then now I have a show I can be on.
God, if it was, because that was years ago.
Right.
Uh-huh.
You're like, I've got a long-term goal, and I need these people.
I've got an extremely far out goal.
Yep. Someday in 7 years, I'm going to need.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, James, can you remind everyone where they can find you online, where they can find this game, and what sort of other things you got going on?
Of course. If you are looking to reach me, the best place to go is Blue Sky. I'm at One Shot RPG with their weird, the standard Blue Sky thing on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, hanging out there all the time. That's an easy place to find me. If you want to find this game, head over to Kickstarter, search for Cosmic Century Nights. If you Google Cosmic Century Nights, it brings up the Kickstarter page first. Please get this game. And the cool thing is, it is not just Cosmic Century Nights in that Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
Possible Worlds is lumping a couple games together. So we're there with Homecoming by Megan Cross, which is a very cool, it's not Descended from the Queen, but definitely a prompt-based game in there. So if you enjoy that type of play, like me citing my literal favorite character creation mechanic of fun and interesting prompts. That is a game that is full of them. Check those out. And Chuck, which I have had the least experience with. I haven't got a chance to read Chuck yet, but it is like kind of a beer and pretzels game about taking care of a little guy. It's very, very cute. And there are options to back all of these games together. Which I highly encourage people to do because I think Megan is incredible. And we definitely made the decision on the outset is like, we want to use our games to lift each other up because we think it's all so interesting. And so I would love to have you come there because, hey, it's also a great discount that you're going to be getting backing multiple games at once.
More games is always better, I think, is, just a great sales pitch generally of like, do you want more games? Yes.
And if you want character creation things, you can also find my books wherever books are sold, but hopefully at your friendly local game store. We're in big brick and mortar stores like Barnes & Noble, but I would much rather you call ahead to your friendly local game store and special order a copy in, if they don't, of the Ultimate RPG series, which has tons of different exercises and mini games and whatnot for creating character backstory details. I love that I get to do those books. I think they are so cool. And I definitely think if you like this show, you will like those books. Finally, my podcasts are wherever you get your podcasts. So if you're listening to this, you probably have access to them. But they are Campaign Skyjacks, Star Wall, spelled like narwhal with star, and the Ultimate RPG podcast.
Well, thank you again, James, for sitting down with us. And thank you to everyone for tuning in.
Call to action.
Yeah, like that.
Gosh, here we are at the end of another series, releasing this episode on a special day because it is right before the crowdfunding campaign ends for the game that we're covering this series. Wanted to make sure we got James's final thoughts out there. Truly a wonderful experience again. And I really hope that the people that are backing this game are going to enjoy this, because it is a wonderful exercise in world building and character creation all around. And thank you, James, for coming on and being a guest on the show and sharing this delight with us. I'm really glad Amelia was able to get a taste of the character creation in the system as well. It is truly wonderful. But we do have some calls to action. And before we let you go for the day, before we get out of here for the next series, which will be coming up in about a week and a half, here is those calls to action. First up, the Kickstarter for Cosmic Century Nights is funded at the time that you are listening to this, and it goes until tomorrow. If you like what you are hearing in this series, definitely head on over to the link in our show notes and get your pledge in if you haven't already. Next up, check us out at GameHole Con in Madison, Wisconsin on Friday night on October 17th at 8:00 p.m. Central U.S. time. We will be creating random characters using our custom C3 random character tables from many random TTRPGs that we own. It is a 2-hour event to give us enough time to create 4 characters together and to do a bit of world building in the process. We would love to see you there and meet you afterwards. An easy way to get to that event is in the show notes, or to search for character creation in the GameHole Con search process for the events. Another way to see us live would be on our Undying Bonds live stream. We are tentatively planning for Wednesday, October 1st at 6:30 p.m. Central U.S. time. We have a lot to go over together still, and we'll be able to really get to the core of the game sooner rather than later with this episode under our belts. So I'm looking forward to what we cover there. It should be a fun time. So join us on the One Shot Twitch channel at twitch.tv/OneShotRPG next week, Wednesday. Aside from that, we would love it if you checked out the C3 Patreon at patreon.com/charactercreationcast. We are only $1 away from our $160 a month goal, which will let us hire someone to do monthly webpage updates to our site at charactercreationcast.com. We'll be able to add information to the pages dedicated to all of the games that we are covering on the show, including character sheets, links to the episodes, and more. I am already in talks with someone to handle this task for us. So if we can get there this week even, they'll be able to get things started right away, starting with this month's series. I might even get them started a little bit early since we are so very close. In addition to that, as a thank you to our patrons, and this is the important part for the goal, if we get to that milestone of $160, $1 away, we will create a unique enamel pin for all of the campaign level backers. It looks like we'll be able to get a whole bunch of those pins as well. So if you want to join in on the campaign level and get one of those, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff that I'll list in just a second, now is the time to get in there. We're just $1 away from that goal. So very close. And if we get enough people that do join at that campaign level, or a whole bunch of others at the lower levels, and we can get to $200 a month, not only will that unlock yearly subscriptions for our supporters at a discount, it will also mean that we can afford to pay the new web admin a bit more every month to update the backlog of games on our site as well. This level is only a little over 4 campaign level backers away, so really it's not too many folks that would need to sign up for us to get there. Joining at the campaign level, this is what it gets you. It means it gets you new stickers every month that you are a patron, including one of every sticker that we have on hand. Right now, that's 25 stickers for $10. You also get a set of 3 6-sided dice that are branded with the C3 logo that are really great quality from ChessX. You also get a personalized thank you card from the both of us, handcrafted by Amelia, as well as other perks like bonus episodes. Again, this is all for $10 a month, and it will go a long way towards helping provide a one-stop shop for any of the games that we cover on the show. We also have tiers at the $5 level, which does get you the dice and the thank you card, as well as our bonus episodes. Also, we have the $1 level that gets you various perks like our occasional chit-chat episodes and whatnot. So head on over to patreon.com/charactercreationcast to get all the info. Also, if you sign up for free, we occasionally put out a newsletter on there too, when we are able to do so. In addition to all of that, we'd like to thank our current patrons every episode. Your support truly helps out a great deal. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Starting with Lieutenant DJG, aka Tyrannosaurus, and Eric Bonds. Thanks for helping us make this show. Daryl Holiday II, Shadim Kabal, and the Shyest Barbarian, thanks for believing in us. Benjamin Sweeney, Rob Fletcher, and Kevin Brown, you're the best. Thanks. We appreciate your support, Tentacle Duck, John Adamus, and E3 Sketchpad. Thank you. Many thanks to Carlos Salazar, Eric S., and Ian Potmeyer. Liam G., Brian Colm, and Gardem GM, you're awesome. Thank you. Tanglefoot, Blue Kryptonite, and Danny, thanks for believing in us. Nicole Trainer, Liam Murray, and Kenning, you're the best. Thank you. Many thanks to Brian Kurtz, Marky Fair, and Drew Owen. Thanks to Oz, Sean Metcalf, and Robert. So glad to have you backing us. Kevin Bates, Deadly Edley, and Allison Cole, thank you all so much. And finally, thank you to Blue Scholar. So glad to have you here with us. And thank you to all of our future patrons. If you want to join this phenomenal group of individuals, please head on over to patreon.com/charactercreationcast and help us out. And with more assistance, we'll be able to make those website upgrades and make exploring your favorite games that much easier. And if you want to join in the discussion with our hosts, some of our guests, and a bunch of fans, head to our Discord at discord.charactercreationcast.com. Finally, if you want to help us out in another way that doesn't require any money, you can leave a rating and review for our show on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, or Podcast Addict, and we'll go ahead and read every new 5-star review as we get them, and as we both have a chance to record together. That's all we have for today's episode. Join us here next time when we have a brand new series that's going to be starting. It's going to be starting in about a week and a half, the first Monday of October. Until then, take care, everyone. Stay safe, drink some water, and keep making those amazing people. We'll see you next time. Character Creation Cast is a production of the One Shot Podcast Network and can be found online at www.charactercreationcast.com. Head to the website to get more information on our hosts, this show, and even our press kit. Character Creation Cast can also be found on Twitter and Blue Sky at CreationCast, or on our Discord server at discord.charactercreationcast.com. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Bolter, and I can be found on Twitter and Blue Sky at Lord Neptune or online at lordneptune.com. Our other host, Amelia Antrim, can be found on Twitter and Blue Sky at Ginger Reckoning. Music for this episode is used with a Creative Commons license or with permission from the podcast they originated from. Further information can be found within the show notes. Our main theme music is Hero Remix by Steve Combs and is used with a Creative Commons license. This podcast is owned by us under Creative Commons. This episode was edited by Ryan Bolter. Further information for the game systems used and today's guests can also be found in the show notes. If you'd like to support our show, find us on Patreon. Get access to bonus episodes, exclusive merch, and much more at patreon.com/charactercreationcast. Thanks for joining us. And remember, we find that the best part of any role-playing game is character creation. So go out there and create some amazing people. We'll see you next time.